So basically, this is an experimental puzzle platform game where you can scale objects up and down as much as you want, and there are certain limits on the degree to which you can scale things up and down. Um, Mostly implied by the total amount of mass in the world. So in order to scale something up, you have to scale something else down. So there's scale juice that is conserved as you scale things up and down through the world, and you can sort of store it and do things with it. And I'd like to make it so it's pretty much everything in the world can be scaled, so that, yeah, that guy, you can make him quite large and ride around on him if you want to. It's a little challenging to get on top of him right now, but it was just a quick prototype. So that you get some first-person butterfly going on there. And there's a couple of puzzles later that use that. I got a lot of hero in my throat, so that should... yeah, so if you kind of work your way through here, this is basically just a tutorial showing a couple of the basic uses here. No. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. There you go. So those are my little MacGuffins that you're collecting right now. And eventually I think what will happen is you'll be collecting items that appear in other levels. So for example, you might collect a snow globe that has like a mountain path inside it that you can see, and if you make it large enough, you can like walk up the mountain path. So gather some mass from the surrounding trees, and then scale the house up. Might need to get a little bit more. So it's kind of an upstairs area. And eventually this house will be full of stuff. So you may need to scale the house up just a little bit more to be able to go out the back window and go get the collectible. Except now the house is so huge that it takes forever to walk across it. So maybe you want to scale it down a little bit more. So eventually I think there'll be things like there'll be a mouse hole in the wall, and you can go into the mouse hole, and it's sort of like the secret world of Ariety. There's like a whole level inside the wall of the house. And in this upstairs bedroom, there'll be a dollhouse, and you can carry that dollhouse outside of this house and scale it up to the size of a house that you can walk through, and then you can scale this house down and take it and put it into the dollhouse where the dollhouse was in this house, if that makes sense. And that'll be sort of the resolve of the puzzle. That is the door you came from, so I'll just hit enter to go take you to the next level. So we got, sort of the basics of a first-person puzzle platformer, although mass affects your ability to activate buttons. So you got to take that rock and use the E button to carry it over and put it on the thing. Plonk. And you make it big enough. Yeah, you got it. Oh, it's up above you. To your left there. There you go. Right. So there are still a few kinks to be worked out of the physics system, obviously, because dynamic scaling is not something that physics engines do at all. Pretty much every physics engine ever is built on the assumption that you will not be scaling things in real time. But you hit this switch, actually, with that explosive rock there, and you actually hit it, which opened this gate over here, which gives you access to that stuff. So one of the things that's not really represented here in this earlier prototype that is a big part of what I'm going to do in the future is to play around with the scale of objects, because all of us carry around this sort of internalized notion of what the scale of objects should be. So for example, this chair that you're sitting on, it's just sort of a regular sized chair, so it's kind of boring, right? But if it was 20 feet high and it was sitting in the hallway behind you, then it would be art, right? Amazing, right? Or if it was a little tiny one sitting on your desktop, it's like, oh, that's really cute, that's cool, it's interesting. But that interestingness comes from the scale of the object, so that's one of the concepts that I want to play around with. So on this level, you want to get that piece of fruit moving. Hi-oh. That's some serious momentum. You might have to hit R to reset. I think you've glitched it out. I was just playing around with all the parameters, and I made the scaling rate a little bit too fast, so I got to tune that down. Yeah, but if you do it just right. Yeah, there you go. So you better get some scale juice there. Uh-oh. Oh, almost. So I think what's going to happen is the scale, when something gets scaled up, if it's going to interpenetrate another object according to the physics system, I'm going to pre-test for that and sort of have it exit gracefully from that. Oh, and I think what I'm going to do with this is if this runs into one of these, you won't have to reset because it'll just pop into like a big ball of juice, and then it'll just auto reset. It should make it a little bit less painful. But I think you get the idea of what we're doing here. No.
You're getting all this, right? Yeah.
And then there's a button down here, so you need to, yeah, there you go. Oh no! All right, well, we're gonna call that a win. So yeah, hit enter to go to the next one. Oh, very good. You got that one quickly. Except now you have to get across there, so. So these are some of the more basic puzzles that you can make with this kind of mechanic, and in just a minute here you'll see some of the sort of, I'll just skip you ahead, because all you need to do is rise up there. So this is like cannons firing at each other.
Oh, it's like a tank.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like all the Atari games.
So, okay, so you did that correctly. You got the two cannonballs to go past each other, so each one is going to hit one of those switches, which is going to open these gates, but they close again really quickly, so you have to do it with the correct timing in order to get the thing inside. You got it. I think so. Open the other one. Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Yeah. You got enough of them through. It's challenging to execute, maybe a little bit too much so, but the concept is solid. Well, you may be an expert FPS player. I don't know. So the trick here is, of course, you have to scale it larger only when you have enough room to do so, because you're popping it against the world there. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, so close. Okay, so then this is the last level, and this one requires a little bit of explanation because it's kind of glitchy right now, but the idea is solid, I think. So look at this world and look down here, and you can see it's kind of like, whoa, it's the Grand Canyon. There's no way I could get across, and it takes me forever to walk across this desert. But if you just back up a little bit, yeah, and just scale the world down. Now you can just jump across. And now you're up on top of that mountain. And you can scale it all the way back up and walk off of it. If you want to get a better shot of it, it's probably better to scale, point it at the mountain from over there to scale it down first. Yeah. But what's interesting about this is it sort of warps time as well as space, because it would take you forever to walk across this desert. But you can just scale it down, take one step, and scale it back up again, and now all of a sudden you're all the way across. And yeah, it's a little glitchy. Yeah. Here.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'll show you the sort of it's fully broken, but the idea is solid, so I just need to work on the technical implementation. So you can see, whoa, there's a crazy river, and I have to get across it, and then I just sort of scale the world down, and I can hop right across and scale it up. Or you can get to the top of this mountain. I have a timing puzzle in here that's slightly broken. But yeah, you can just sort of run across the desert, jump on the mountain, scale it back up, and all of a sudden you've traversed this huge distance.
And that is my game scale.
And that is my game scale.